So, Steve, we're talking all about broccoli sprout today.
Oh, God, you ready to screw your thyroid up, are you?
So, no. Hold in there, because we're going to talk all about the benefits of broccoli sprout on the gut, on the brain, on detoxification, how it doesn't impact the thyroid negatively. It can even have some beneficial effects. And the big one, Steve, how it can help with fat loss.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'm going to look good in Speedos this summer?
You will, Steve.
Great. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, welcome to the ATP Project. You're with your hosts, Nick and Steve.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Steve?
Good. We're talking about something that I took last night.
Yes, I'm just trying to think if I took any. I don't think I took any last night.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, you'd have taken it.
I've been taking it most nights.
Have you?
Yep, this week.
Okay.
Because it's on special. What are we talking about? What is it?
We're talking about broccoli sprout.
Yes, broccoli sprout.
Broccoli sprout. Amazing compound, I guess. It's the compounds in the broccoli sprout. It's an amazing ingredient with amazing compounds. Does loads of things, really, really amazing things in the body. So we're going to go through all the different actions that broccoli sprout has in the body, and it's really good. It's one of my favourites.
Yes.
I do use it quite a bit in clinic.
Well, that's interesting to help people. Now, it's funny because you've heard of superfoods, little foods with a red cape on it. This,
that before. They've got the red cape.
They call honey a superfood and all this stuff. This is one I think is a real superfood.
Yeah,
because it contains glucoraphane and a few other things in there. It makes sulforaphane.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is like a really interesting sort of food source because there's something. Look, the sprouts are better; they've got more of it in there. But you can still eat broccoli.
Yeah, you can still eat broccoli and get the effects, but you have to eat a massive whack of broccoli to get the effects. So broccoli sprouts are a much better way to get it, and even supplements that contain broccoli sprout powder are really good as well.
But broccoli, we've picked on this substance in broccoli called sulforaphane. But you want to go into some of the active components because we can get a little nerdy here.
Yes. So the sulforaphane is what gives broccoli its superfood qualities, I guess. Sulforaphane does so much in the body, which we will talk about.
Oh, yeah.
But glucoraphane is a big part of, it is in all of the broccoli, all the parts of the broccoli.
Yep.
But the broccoli seed contains the highest amounts of glucoraphane.
Right.
And then you also need something else called myrosinase.
Myrosinase, that's an enzyme because it ends in ASE.
ASE.
So it converts glucoraphane to sulforaphane. So
that's right.
Let's get that nerdy stuff out of the way.
Yep. So glucoraphane is converted to sulforaphane.
Yep.
So it's sort of the combination of the glucoraphane and the myrosinase together that actually creates the sulforaphane.
Yep.
And it's really high in broccoli sprout. So, so that's sort of the compounds that are involved in that.
Look, and eating broccoli is good for you because it's a vegetable. It's got fibre. It's green, and that's all great. But what we're going to focus on today, some of the real biochemistry in it, which is the sulforaphane that's produced when you consume it, which is so good for you and all that sort of stuff. It's just incredible. What else you got there? It's interesting. I want to pick your brains a bit about it. Yeah.
So this is be something that people might recognise. So another glucosinolate known as glucobrassicin.
Oh, yes.
Is found in the broccoli seed.
Yep.
It's converted to indole-3-carbinol by myrosinase again.
Yep.
And in the acidic conditions of the stomach, the indole-3-carbinol is converted to DIM.
Diindolylmethane.
And a lot of people would have heard of DIM.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that comes from that broccoli. So that conversion, those compounds. So in DIM, we all know DIM has some amazing
benefits. So does indole-3-carbinol. And so what I like about this is you get like a bouquet of biochemistry when you consume. I'm trying to give this a bit of sex appeal. And it's really amazing because you get this massive amount of biochemistry of indole-3-carbinol, which when I'm in the 25 years ago, that was a hot item.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we used to talk about it for metabolizing estrogen down a beautiful beneficial pathway.
Definitely.
Which is we're going to talk about today. But that biochemical pathway is good. Look, you can go and just take DIM on its own, and we've done podcasts on DIM before. But what we'd like to say is that you just eat the whole food.
That's right.
Because we're all about food here.
We are, yeah.
You know.
And sprout your own broccoli.
Yes.
That's what I do. sprout my broccoli. I also have broccoli sprout powder that I have concentrated, but I do sprout my own broccoli as well.
Well, how do you sprout it? Because I just get the powder. I'm boring. What do you do that's more clever than me? What do you do?
Well, I buy the organic seeds.
Yep.
And then I've got a sprouter, and I just put it in there, and they grow. Five to 7 days later, you get a big whack of broccoli sprout.
It's like grass.
Yeah, it's like alfalfa, I guess, if people sprouts are really, I do sprout quite a few different sprouts, but broccoli sprouts my main one that I sprout. And I always have some in the fridge, and I just put it on things for the benefits. It's amazing stuff.
And I've got a little hook for people to listen later. We're going to talk about how this stuff can actually help you with fat loss.
Oh, yeah, hold out for that one. That's really interesting.
Look, it's great for your brain, protects against cancer and all that stupid shit, but you'll look good in a bikini, Nick, if you eat this stuff.
That's right.
There you go.
You will.
Absolutely. Can I ask you some questions about sulforaphane?
Yes.
Because it's very interesting, and we know what it is and all that sort of thing, and but there's some really interesting stuff about sulforaphane, about what the benefits in the human body. And I've got this beautiful little colour graph you can refer to if you want. Yes. And this is out of a paper called Antioxidants 2024. And sulforaphane does all sorts of things. Now I want to ask you about parts of the body. But firstly, how does it protect the brain? I'm going to start with the brain. I mean, I can start with other areas, but how does it help the brain?
Well, it has apoptotic properties, Steve. So that's that cell death.
Yep.
So it helps to kill off those
cancer cells.
That are no good.
And it's funny, it's in the brain. It has anti-apoptotic properties.
Yes.
So it stops brain cells dying.
That's right.
So instead of killing cells, it kills bad cells, but grows good cells.
Yes.
And it's anti-inflammatory in the brain.
It is. It's got the antioxidants and it's anti-inflammatory.
Yep.
So very good for the brain.
Yep.
What we should talk about, Steve, is how it activates NRF2.
NRF2. Now
that's a lot of its mechanisms.
Oh, NRF2 is an absolute gold mine when it comes. If you can activate that substance, you're going to have so many health benefits, from detox to all that sort of thing. So talk about nuclear factor urathiroid 2 related factor. That's what it's called.
So NRF2 for short, much easier. So it's a transcription factor, which is a protein that helps to turn genes on and off, which is super important. So they bind to sections of the DNA. And it regulates expressions of antioxidant proteins. So that protects the body against the oxidative stress. So that's why the antioxidant qualities are so strong in this compound.
So it's better than just, people think antioxidants, vitamin E, vitamin C, and you take them. But what this does, it activates the genes in the body to become an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory and all these other things. So it actually tells the body, it says, hey, body, produce more antioxidants and be anti-inflammatory and live longer.
Yeah.
I love that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that's really interesting. What else is good about NRF2 activation? Can I give you one jump in? Detoxification.
Yeah, detox. Yeah, it's one of the biggest factors in our detoxification.
Isn't that amazing? Like, we think about detox and all that sort of stuff. This activates the genes to detoxify it. I mean, isn't that incredible?
Yeah, definitely. So, it can help with DNA damage.
Yep.
It helps to repair.
Yep.
It helps with the depletion of, it helps to replenish glutathione, which is, again, our major antioxidant in our body. So
it's one we can make as a tripeptide from 3 amino acids.
Yeah. And our NRF2 activity decreases as we get older. So we want to try and pump that back up again. So that broccoli sprout's really good for that as well. Amazing things. So some of the things that it can do in the body,
what does it do?
Apart from the brain health. So we know it's very good for the brain, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Supports hormonal health, Steve.
Wow. Okay. So we're talking about indole 3-carbonyl, the methane, because that's their hormonal regulator. What does it do for our hormone health?
Yeah, so it's very good with helping with estrogen metabolism. And detoxification. So it's it's probably my first go-to when we're looking at estrogen detoxification. So women that have estrogen dominance and things like that, or they're not metabolizing estrogen very well. Also breast cancers and things like that. A lot of time it's the estrogens. They're producing a lot more of the more toxic estrogen, and it's not being detoxified very well either. So you've got a double whammy. So the broccoli sprout is really good at helping to detoxify that, metabolize it down the right pathways. So the O2 pathway is a very healthy pathway to detoxify your estrogen. The O4 and the O16 are a little bit more toxic. So this can help shunt it down the right pathway and detoxify it through the liver. So very good for balancing those hormones, reducing that estrogen dominant sort of picture.
Yeah, you're right. And you got to remember that breast cancer affects older women.
Yeah.
Older women have less estrogen. And so does estrogen cause breast cancer? The answer is yes and no.
Yes and no.
And as you correctly point out, there's three main types. There's 2, 4, and 16 hydroxy estrone.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the 2s are the good. The 4s and the 6s are, as you said, are questionable. So if you can push your estrogen detoxification down 2 pathway, which is what this stuff does, broccoli does, we'll just say broccoli, it does that. So that's going to keep your breast safer as well as other hormonal cancers.
Definitely, yeah, because we produce more of the estrone.
Yep,
estrone postmenopausally.
Yep.
And that is more an unstable estrogen. And as I said, it can, other contributing factors, inflammation and all the things that come along with menopause, you're less likely to be able to have clear detox pathways. So you're producing more of this more toxic estrogen, essentially, and you're not able to detoxify it effectively. Therefore, it is then creating growth in breast tissue and things like that. So it's not that you don't want the hormone at all. You just want to make sure your body's metabolizing and detoxifying that hormone, effectively. So the broccoli sprout is really good for that.
You said you use this a lot in clinic, so you use it for estrogen detoxification. Is there anything else you particularly like to use it for?
Yeah, so I use it a lot for gut health as well. It's actually really great for gut health. Does a lot of really good, because it has antimicrobial qualities as well within the gut. So it's very good for dysbiosis.
Yes.
Things like that. And very good for reducing the effects and reducing H. pylori.
Helicobacter pylori is a bug that causes ulcers in the gut, and about a third of Australians have it. So in this room, there's 3 of us. One of us has got it, and I'm looking at Nicole.
I don't have it.
we're just this is 1 in 3. So we're 3 of us in this room. Who's got it? Could be me.
Well, they could.
I haven't got any symptoms.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing with H. pylori. It's not a H. pylori podcast, but a lot of times you don't have any symptoms. Initially, you can have. So I have clients, that I've seen that I said, do you have because burping, acid, reflux, bloating, those types of things, because it does reduce your acid production. It impacts the parietal cells of the gut. And they said, no, I don't have any of that sort of thing. Oh, maybe 20 years ago I went through a stage of burping and that sort of thing, but not since then.
Yeah.
Well, that could have been when you first, contracted the virus, bacteria. But a lot of people don't. But it can have significant impacts on your health. And even if there is a virulence factor attached to it, you can end up with stomach more possibility of stomach cancers and things like that. So you've got to be careful.
Now, how do you know you've got it? You can go to the doctor to get a hydrogen breath test, so you can get a breath test for it if you want to.
Yeah, and if you look on your blood test, urea can be high.
Oh.
Yeah, and if you get a stool analysis, ammonia-producing bacteria can be high as well.
I didn't know that.
The stool testing I use doesn't test for it because the research really isn't strong enough to show that it's accurate in the testing of the stool, but in the breath, definitely it is. But if you're having symptoms, you have high urea, and you have high ammonia-producing bacteria in the stool analysis, and you're having indigestion or bloating or reflux and burping and struggling with sort of symptoms of low acid, even bleeding, so blood in the stools and things. So darker blood could be ulcers, which H. pylori can cause. Yep. Then they can be indications that you should look a bit further into it.
You can get a condition called melena, which is not someone's name, by the way. There's wife's got a friend called melena. I went, oh, you know what that means? No, I didn't say it to her. But it means blood in the stool.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. So that's incredible. So Helicobacter pylori. So it helps, put an end to that little bugger living in there. Now, Nick, okay, all right. So you're consuming broccoli sprouts, getting loads of sulforaphane. How does it work in the gut?
So to help to reduce the H. pylori, it inhibits the production of large amounts of urease.
Yes.
Which neutralizes the gastric acid and provides the ammonia for the bacterial synthesis. So you want to reduce the urease levels. So that's what the sulforaphane does. To help to reduce that urease levels.
Wow.
To reduce the H. pylori.
All right, so it's good for your brain, good for your gut.
It's good for your gut. And any sort of dysbiosis, so as it has that antimicrobial effect on the gut as well. It does have an antimicrobial effect. So any sort of dysbiosis, which is an imbalance between your healthy, beneficial, and maybe your more opportunistic bacteria, it can help to reduce some of those more opportunistic bacteria from its antimicrobial effects as well. So some people can be quite sensitive to it. So if you have gut stuff, you can start really low, get some powder and start really low with the broccoli sprout powder and increase it. So it has that antimicrobial impact as well. So overall, really good for the gut microbiome.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of a question sitting out that people are saying, okay, what if I just eat broccoli? Well, it's about 20 to 50 times more dilute.
Yes.
So the seeds are 20 to 50 times stronger. So that's why you're talking about, look, broccoli's fine to eat.
Yeah.
It's good, but the sprout, that's what we really want to get the sulforaphane out of it. It's 20 to 50 times more potent. Yes. And therefore you get the more activation of the NRF2, kills the bugs in the gut, good for your brain. What about the big C?
The big C.
Yeah, big cancer. There's lots of good benefits. Now, NRF2, I'll start you off. NRF2, when you activate that, it's anti-carcinogenic.
Yep.
Now, there's this thing in the body called the cell cycle.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about cancer, we talk about cells going through a cycle, and the cell goes through every cycle, and it multiplies, etc., and it goes through this cycle. Now, if the cycle is too fast, it's like when I have to print out too many papers too quickly, too many photocopies, I make a mistake.
Yeah.
Not me,
Yeah.
because I'm perfect.
That's
but
right.
some people make mistakes.
Yes.
So when you're doing something too fast, the cell cycle's too fast, it causes cancer. The broccoli and the sulforaphane slows that down and actually inhibits the cell cycle.
It does.
Now, what does it do? Because another thing that drives cancer is detox when you get build-up of toxins. So what does it do to phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification? Because it's a very interesting mechanism there, because it does some it actually inhibits detoxification and speeds up detoxification.
It does.
Do you want to explain that?
So we all know there's phase 1 and phase 2 liver detox pathways, and most people have a very fast phase 1 and a very slow phase 2.
Right.
So the body gathers everything up into phase 1.
Yep.
Binds it all up, ready to go into phase 2.
Yep.
But if phase 2's slow, it sits in phase 1 for too long, and the body goes, well, I can't keep it in here, so it recirculates.
Exactly.
So then you get the toxic build-up and all that sort of thing. So you want to slow down phase 1 and speed up phase 2, which is exactly what the broccoli sprout does. That's what sulforaphane does.
Exactly.
So deactivates that phase 1 and enhances the phase 2
detoxification. Yeah, it's like when you clean up a garden and you're doing the lawns and you're getting a build-up of rubbish. If you get rid of the rubbish quickly, there's no mess.
That's right.
And that sort of thing, because this mess in the garden and in our bodies causes free radicals.
Yeah.
Now, what does sulforaphane do for free radicals?
So it's a free radical scavenger.
Right, okay.
Gets rid of all the free radicals as well. So really good for that detoxification, those phases of the liver detox pathways.
Good.
So really good for that. So, and all of that, obviously, if you have less toxic load and recirculation, you're going to reduce your risk of cancers and other things as well. So, any sort of oxidative stress or, any sort of condition driven by inflammation and oxidative stress. So,
And that's right, because remember, oxidative stress, if you get an unpaired electrons like pairs, like humans. Well, some of us don't like pairs, but most of us, if I'm married, we go around in pairs, and the electrons like pairs. But if you get an unpaired electron, that becomes a free radical and reacts with anything around you. So if it reacts with DNA, it damages the DNA. Damaged DNA can cause cell death or cancer. So what this does is it scavenges those free radicals. So as you get less damage to your DNA and you get more healthy DNA, less likelihood of cancer.
That's right.
And again, this is just sulforaphane. This is on top of all the benefits of eating these vegetables and, vitamin C, sulforaphane effects, which is quite remarkable, really.
Yeah.
I've got a really remarkable mechanism of what sulforaphane does, and I've got to get a very big paper out here.
I know, and it is literally a very big paper.
You want to talk about that now?
Talk about it.
All right. The best thing about sulforaphane, reduces heart disease, cancers and all these things, but it'll help you lose weight. It activates a chemical in the body called CEBP. Now, C/EPD is a chemical that once you activate that, it increases fat metabolism. So it switches on something in your body to reduce fat metabolism. So it's quite remarkable. So there's alpha and beta. Okay. Now what you want to do is decrease the alpha and increase the beta version of this CEBP.
Yeah.
And what it does is if you decrease the alpha, you increase the beta.
Yes.
So decreasing the alpha in this way, in obesity, which is what this stuff does, increases the beta. And in this paper here that I printed out rather largely, Frontiers of Aging, it says evidence that CEP beta increases fat metabolism, protects against diet-induced obesity. And that's the exact title of the paper.
Exact title, yep.
So broccoli has this effect. I'm going to say sulforaphane, I should say, the stuff in the broccoli sprouts and broccoli, particularly broccoli sprouts, benefits your liver, benefits your gut, benefits your brain, and helps you look good.
Helps you look good, exactly.
How good is that?
Yeah, so very good for obesity.
Yep. It also increases an enzyme called adenosine monophosphate kinase.
Yes.
Which is your spending and AMK.
Talked about that. Yep.
Which helps you spend energy and all that sort of stuff.
So that's what's activated when you're fasting.
Yes.
And that sort of thing. So very good for that. We've talked about AMK in the past in the anti-aging podcast.
Yeah. AMK is great for, I mean, I'm drinking something with gynostemma in it. And it activates AMK. So I'm losing fat as I speak.
You're losing fat. Breathing it out.
There was just something in the kitchen I drank. So anyway, we've obviously got a weird kitchen here when we're drinking stuff like that.
Potions and lotions in the kitchen.
Yeah, I go there like a
I know, you just fill your cup up with anything that's in there, don't you? And just hope for the best.
There's at least two separate products in here because I just mix them up. Because it's like, hey, while I'm here, I don't drink water in this office.
No, I noticed that. You just drink your potions.
And it's a mixture of stuff. But anyway, so isn't that a cool paper? I mean, firstly, really if you're watching us on YouTube, look at the size of that paper.
I know, it's a big paper.
Obviously, it's me printing it out wrong.
A big paper.
But it looks pretty cool.
So, Steve, not only does it reduce obesity, burn fat, but it actually can help to support the normalization of insulin sensitization. So it helps to reduce insulin resistance.
Right.
So it enhances glucose transport.
Wow.
Improves blood glucose levels.
Yep.
So, so not only is it helping reduce fat, but it's also regulating your insulin, which obviously more insulin sensitive you are, the leaner you will become.
Right.
So it's a really good pairing. So, great for diabetes.
Isn't that funny?
Metabolic syndromes, things like that.
All from one thing.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So does it screw your thyroid though?
Does it screw your thyroid?
Does it screw your thyroid? Yeah.
So this is a big one, and this, this is old school learning back in the day. Do not eat cruciferous vegetables if you have a thyroid condition.
I was taught that in the 90s.
I was taught that with my education as well years ago, which would have been 10, 15 years ago now.
You're not that old.
No, I'm not that old. But so either it worsens it or it causes it.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
Not true.
Well, it is true, but you have to have ridiculous amounts of goitrogens to actually have that effect. And the mechanism is the goitrogens block iodine uptake. Yeah. And iodine, obviously, we need iodine for healthy liver, healthy thyroid function. Yeah. So do broccoli sprouts one, impact thyroid, or two, even contain goitrogens? So
good question.
Yeah. So the mature broccoli, yes, it does contain goitrogens.
Okay.
But again, you need to eat a lot of it. And if you lightly steam it, it deactivates that goitrogenic impact anyway. So
who eats raw broccoli? Oh, my wife does. She's a nut job though.
Some people eat raw broccoli and raw cauliflower. I don't understand. I love my veggies, but I can't eat them raw.
Yeah.
Not good. Broccoli sprouts do not contain goitrogens at all.
There you go.
Steve.
That's the end of the debate, isn't it?
Exactly.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. So broccoli itself is not super high in goitrogens anyway, particularly when it's cooked, as I said. And then the absence of the active myrosinase enzyme means that there's no goitrogens produced in the sprouts.
Yeah.
And broccoli is usually eaten cooked, so we shouldn't have to worry about it. If you're eating it raw, again, if you're eating large amounts of raw broccoli, probably don't do that. Just lightly steam it. But the sprouts themselves do not contain the goitrogens, so completely safe in higher doses, and you can high dose, obviously, the powders and things like that. So one of the big ones is kale, Steve.
It's got, I've got a table here of the amount of it in there. It's 18.5, which is pretty high up on the food chain.
And a lot of people will actually put raw kale in their smoothies and things like that, and it's really high in goitrogen. So you want to be a bit careful if you're eating a lot of raw kale. Yeah. Kale juice, even some people have kale juice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, don't do that. But yeah, so it's probably one of the highest ones.
Symposi is the highest one of in this chart here.
Yes.
We don't eat that much in Australia, but gee whiz, it's incredibly high. It's up to 97 compared to kale, which is 18.5. Broccoli, 0.
I don't even know what Symposi is.
Oh, it's a weird plant that people eat. It's just, luckily not in Australia. It's mainly aged, but again, cook it.
Yeah, cook it. Yeah, Chinese cabbage. Yep. Kohlrabi even, it's not super high, but the kale 18.5 with the pro-goitrogen is super high. So, so broccoli sprout, completely safe. You don't need to worry about thyroid function at all. And even the old don't eat any cruciferous vegetables if you have a thyroid condition is not really a thing now, as long as they're slightly steamed. And there's so many goitrogens, sweet potato, almonds. There's lots of different foods that contain goitrogens, not just cruciferous vegetables. And they have so many amazing health benefits that you don't want to avoid them.
It's funny because we pick on one little aspect of it and go, I'm not going to eat that because of A, B, or one tiny little aspect of it. And you got to think of the big picture.
Exactly. And, it's something that has got around for years about goitrogens. But if they cause thyroid issues, then everyone would have one because a lot of people eat goitrogenic foods, right?
I know.
It's like everything. It's quantities.
It's absolutely
dosages.
remarkable.
Yeah.
But there's so many places, so many diseases where sulforaphane affects. But I want to ask you about heart disease.
Yes.
This actually has a beneficial effect in lipid metabolism as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. So it modulates lipid metabolism. So it can sort of, keep the LDL levels a bit lower.
Good.
It suppresses the inflammatory pathways, and obviously inflammation does, if you have chronic inflammation, it can contribute to arterial issues and cardiovascular disease and that sort of thing as well.
Can I ask you some random ones? Asthma.
Yes, asthma.
Very good for asthma, isn't it? Respiratory health.
For asthma, yes.
So there's been some great studies on that, a randomised control trial. Another study quickly, it improved the happiness of children too.
Did it?
Yeah. Probably not while they're
eating it.
Oh, that's right. But it did. It improved the happiness.
Yeah, but the sprouts themselves, like the powder. I mean, obviously you can't be giving them buckets of broccoli, but the in powder form.
Yep.
Definitely.
So, and there's also trials done on type 2 diabetes.
Yes.
And it showed beneficial effects of reducing the oxidative stress index and also reduced in reductions in serum insulin concentrations. Now, you might think, oh, hang on, insulin, that's good. Yes, you need less of it. Yes. Because it makes it more sensitive.
Yes, that's right. You do.
So isn't that remarkable for trials?
It's crazy.
So sulforaphane, and it has multiple effects on the brain, detoxification, microbiome, diabetes, reduces obesity and helps your heart. And has all these other sort of effects on asthma and all these sorts of Alzheimer's. Oh, not Alzheimer's. Well, probably does help Alzheimer's neurodegeneration. Well, it helps with
the brain. It's an antioxidant.
I mean, say autism.
Inflammatory.
Yeah. So I mean, this is pretty remarkable stuff. Now in clinic, you said it also manages hormones. Yes. I mean, mainly in women. Yes. So that's what you mainly use it for, like people who are struggling with their hormones? I use it for hormonal imbalances, as I said, particularly estrogen dominance or postmenopausal issues, like breast cancers and things. I use it for gut health. Yeah. Yeah. Anti-aging as well. I know we've got anti-aging studies here, but that sort of thing. So it's a very good anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, as we said. So anything that's creating oxidative damage in the body, I will use it for that. But primarily hormones and gut are the two main sort of areas that I use it for. But here's something cool for you, Steve. Tell me something cool, because we're up to the cool bits now. Yeah. So there are around 2,000 genes that have been shown to be influenced by sulforaphane. It's got to be like NRF2, I guess. But that's remarkable, isn't it? So obviously this stuff is supposed to be in the human body. So this is a versatile product. You could have it in a hormone product. You could have it in a gut product. You could have it in any other sort of product that works remarkably by activating these genes in the body and also having beneficial effects on the brain, the heart. And this is good stuff. So if you're sort of thinking out there and you're thinking about ways to improve your diet, this stuff will detoxify you, help your brain, heart, all that sort of stuff. I think it's a great addition for anyone. Yeah. What would you recommend for the average sort of punter out there that's thinking of improving their health? Get onto some broccoli sprout. Yeah. So either look for broccoli sprout powder or supplements that contain broccoli sprout, depending on what your condition is or situation is. But you can even try sprouting your own broccoli. Yep. It's super easy. Just get organic broccoli seeds. You can get them online.
Get it from a reputable source. And you can buy the sprouters. They're super cheap, really cheap. You can buy the glass jar sprouters for about $10, and try sprouting your own. It's really easy.
I think Beck and I should do that. When I say really Beck and I, Beck should do it, I should eat it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
No, I'm keen. And one more study before we call it quits. There was a test on sulforaphane and thyroid function, no effect.
Yeah.
So stop the goitrogenic stuff. Absolutely. And this was published in Food Chemical Toxicology 2019. So don't worry about it.
Well, I have to say the amount of thyroid cases I've seen in clinic over the years, I've never seen anyone have a thyroid issue due to high goitrogens, because you just can't eat enough of them. You'd have to eat them raw, as I said, even sweet potatoes and things like that. There's a lot of foods that have goitrogens. People just think it's the cruciferous vegetables. A lot of people, they're not avoiding other goitrogens. They still don't have the issue. So, but the broccoli sprout particularly, and this broccoli sprout powder, no goitrogenic effects, has no goitrogens in it. So completely safe for the thyroid.
Good on you, Nick. Well, I think that's about all we've got time for. So we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Take care. See ya.
So, Steve, guess what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for Ask the Naturopath.
Oh.
Just about lunch.
Damn, I was going to go and have a snack. Ask a Naturopath.
Ask a Naturopath, which is where you can ask us any health question you have, and we'll try and answer it for you. So, down below or email ATP. So we have a couple here for today, Steve. So,
all right.
First one.
Do you want me to ask you, or you want to ask me one? I'll ask you the first one. I should have read this before. Okay, I am a 37-year-old female. Great. I think I'm pretty healthy. I don't go to the gym, but I do work out at home and try to do cardio at least 3 to 4 times a week. I've just been diagnosed with ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder for the people who are playing along at home. And my doctor suggested medication, which is usually an amphetamine. I'd rather take a holistic approach, but I do not know where to start. Any advice on how I could manage this? Name withheld.
Okay, name withheld.
Nick, what do you do for someone who's been diagnosed with ADHD?
So there can be many drivers of ADHD, and we're talking adult ADHD here, not childhood. Well, a lot of people could have had it since childhood and only been diagnosed now, but this is obviously an adult. There are a lot of different drivers. So gut health can be a big factor. So if there's any sort of gut issues going on, you really want to look into the gut. Any sort of inflammation. So neuroinflammation is a really big factor when we're looking at ADHD. And again, that can be gut derived as well. So if you have gut hyperpermeability, you're producing LPS bacteria,
lipopolysaccharides,
lipopolysaccharides, that can then breach the gut barrier, go systemic, and then cross the blood-brain barrier, create inflammation in the brain. So the gut is really significant. Hormonal balance is another really big one as well for men and for women. So I'd be looking at hormones. I'd be looking at your gut. I'd be looking at your detoxification pathways and even your methylation as well. Are you methylating well? Are you not methylating well? So, and they're things that I would be looking at, because the ADHD itself is a symptom of something else. So you want to deep dive into that. So look at your gut health, look at your detoxification, so liver health as well. As I said, methylation. You can get a test called homocysteine. It's a blood test.
Non-blood test,
If that's high, it may well be that you're under-methylating. If it's really low, you could be over-methylating, but more likely under-methylating if you've got ADHD. And hormonal health as well. So you can get some blood testing to have a look at the hormonal balance as well, and just start there. Because you really want to find the driver of the ADHD.
I couldn't agree more. The gut, I think, has got so much to do with ADHD. It's remarkable. That's a good one, Nick. All right.
And saffron can be really good. So it's really good for neuroinflammation, really good for ADHD, that type of thing. Your adaptogens and things like that as well can be really good. And
so the ginseng-y type things.
Yeah.
Good one, Nick. Yeah. All right, good. You got a question for me to ask a naturopath, because I'm a naturopath too.
You are a naturopath.
Yeah.
All right. So this one is name withheld as well. I have listened to the ATP Project for a few years, and I'm excited you've brought back the FAQs / Ask the Naturopath. Changed a little bit. All right. So I have had eczema since I contracted COVID 2 years ago, and I think it's related to this. I know in the past Matt would mention the saying, "I've not been the same since." I think it's related to getting COVID. Matt does say that all the time.
He does.
I've tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing is help. Steve.
Look, it's amazing. I mean, Matt used to say, Matt's one of the smartest people I know, and he when he says that, I haven't been the same since. That is really, really important to keep that in mind, because once you figure out what's triggered it, you can figure out how to treat it.
Exactly.
So in this case, it's likely COVID, because what COVID does is it screws with your immune system.
It does.
Now, eczema is an imbalance of increased T helper 2, which is a type of immune system that gets screwed up by viruses. Now, viruses drive up T helper 1 typically, but if it screws it up, it drives up T helper 2. So it causes dysfunction of the immune system. And that's why COVID was such a menace in some people. It would screw their immune system up, and people would not be the same since. And long COVID we know about now is published in the literature. About 10% of people who get COVID get long COVID, and that's a long-going illness, and this is probably one of those. So absolutely. Now, the good thing about the immune system is we know that most of it hangs out around the gut microbiome.
Yes.
So the gut microbiome is trillions of viruses, bacteria, everything, all these cells in there. So healing the gut and getting the gut healthy is extraordinarily important, and it doesn't sound like it. Because you think, hang on, it's my skin, it's here. What can I put on the skin and what can I do? No. It's an immune disorder, eczema. So start with the gut microbiome, get the microbiome balance. That's where your immune system is. Teach your immune system to be healthy via your microbiome, and your skin should clear up.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a good one.
Yep, I agree. I think also look at the histamine aspect as well, because COVID activates, mast cell degranulation, and a lot of people can develop histamine issues as well, and that can also be contributing to the skin as well. So so you want to get those immune herbs in there, immune modulating herbs. So medicinal mushrooms are really good for that sort of thing.
Not the illegal psilocybin ones.
No, not those sort of things.
Not the magic ones.
Yeah, so mushrooms, and then all your immune herbs and your immune nutrients like your zincs, your vitamin C's, your andrographis and things like that. And then topically you can try things like chickweed.
Oh, yeah.
So chickweed can be really good. So that's obviously, just symptom relief, but while you're working on the inside. But, chickweed can be really good for helping with that sort of thing as well. So
that's a good one, Nick. Excellent. Oh, that's good.
Cool. All right,
Excellent.
that's it, Steve-O, for this week.
That's it. All right, well, I'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.